We have had a very busy week, as you all know. I think we started off the week with 150 some odd bills, and every bill that was requested by a senator received a hearing. We got done about, 30 minutes ago, and today we got bogged down on a few issues, but other than that, we were able to get through the entire agenda this week pretty smoothly. At the beginning of the week, I was thinking we were going to have really late nights, and I told everyone to change their plans, but thankfully we didn't have to do that. So got through the criminal justice bills. Most of those criminal justice bills will be headed to conference per an agreement with the House and the Governor's office to try to work out some differences of opinion with district attorneys, with the Pardon and Parole Board, with other impacted parties, and we continue to negotiate on that, and I think you'll see some meaningful reform continue to come out of that work. I will still be in the middle of that. We had some bills passed this week dealing with audits of state agencies, trying to find savings in addition to trying to find revenues. And other than that, I'm gonna really wanna see what you're interested in talking about and answer your questions. So open it up to questions, and thank you for allowing me to fill in for the pro tem.
Why no teacher pay bill?
Teacher pay can still come up through a joint committee bill and or speaker pro tem bill. We're still working and talking about a framework for a teacher pay like we've been talking about, and the issue can still be brought up through one of those two mechanisms.
Do you think that a teacher pay raise issue at all, are you optimistic that one will happen this year, or do you see it down the line when revenues get better?
I stopped trying to predict what happens in this building the day I walked into the building, so I don't know what the likely outcome is. We spent over about an hour on a left-hand lane bill, and we spent very little time on some more substantive bills, so I don't try to predict the future out here. I know the conversation is ongoing, and I know we're committed to trying to find a framework.
When you say framework, what do you mean?
Framework, what I mean by that is put into place statutory framework to get to a pay raise at some point. Whether or not it has funding this next fiscal year is up still for debate, but having the framework so we know we're casting a vision of how we can get teacher pay to the point it needs to be.
My understanding is leaders didn't want to hear the bill because there wasn't an identified funding source, but yesterday Speaker McCall put out the press release that said, we're going to roll out some revenue raising bills, and the first $53 million would go directly to teacher pay. Where's the difference?
I saw that press release, and I know that is his desire. We have a desire to continue the dialogue and to have the conversation. We've had very fruitful conversations with our House counterparts today, and we look forward to working with them to try to solve all of our problems.
Their release that they put out yesterday basically said that if the teacher pay raise doesn't pass, it's going to be the Senate's fault.
I saw that, and in deadline weeks, there's a lot of pressure on people, and people say things and put stuff in writing, and I'm not going to get bent out of shape about that. The Senate remains unified. We're working together to try to find solutions to this budget issue, and I think that you'll see that we continue to be unified and moving forward as a Senate, trying to be proactive in finding solutions, not just for this fiscal year, but for the fiscal years in advance, to deal with our structural problems and to deal with budget issues for the next 10 years.
Will it be the Senate's fault if the teachers don't get a pay raise this year?
I'm not going to try to get into a fight with the House. I have a deep amount of respect for the Speaker and the floor leader and the House members over there, and I know that on deadline week and with pressures, I probably said a few things this week that I'm glad I didn't put in print.
The Ten Commandments bill was on the agenda, got laid over. Why is that?
There was still some disagreement on that, and it's still alive for next year. I've talked to Senator Bergstrom about that, about the availability of bringing that up next year. It's still on general order. We had some people who had some questions about that, and wanted to make sure we gave them time to have dialogue with Senator Bergstrom.
So you said there was some disagreement on that. What do you mean?
Disagreement, people have different opinions on what the relevant cases to that mean on the constitutionality. Senator Bergstrom remains convinced that it's very defensible and others, including some in the minority party, asked me to give them some time to work on it with Senator Bergstrom, and we had an agreement with Senator Bergstrom to lay it over this year, leave it on general order, and perhaps take it up next year.
So was that a decision you made or he made?
It was a decision that he and I came to jointly.
Are there any specific tax incentives that the Senate would like to see, removed or redone?
Well, we already took action on the wind tax credit earlier this year and sunsetting it in July. We took action very swiftly on that. There's other tax credits that we're still in discussion on moving forward. I think the JCAB meeting notice, if I'm not mistaken, has an issue on the historic tax credit of some issues, but there's not an agreement on that yet. But we're still open to if we can find savings in it, to look at it. We haven't closed any options off.
Have you seen the revised JCAB agenda? Sorry, Lynn. Have you seen the revised JCAB agenda and you added a bunch of House bills? Are there any big ticket items on that?
You know, I have not seen the revised agenda, so I apologize.
There's still a lot of rumors going around about looking at the gross production tax. Where do you think you and your caucus stand on that right now?
I've heard the rumors, I've read the reports, I've seen the Facebook ads by groups that want it, not unaware that there's some people who desire that. I don't think that we've had a lot of support within our caucus for that.
So is there like a serious disagreement between the House and the Senate on the budget where the Senate is interested in revenue raising measures and the House is not? Are you privy to those discussions as floor leader?
I'm privy to discussions, the discussions are ongoing. That I would tell you that meetings have been productive this week. You may not see all the results of their productivity, but this time of year there's always rumors flying around of rumors of war and gnashing of teeth, and I don't get bent out of shape about that. People will talk about it, they'll try to invoke fights between us, they'll try to create disagreements, but I will tell you that we the Pro Tem, myself, the Speaker, and the Leader of the House had a very productive meeting today, and I know that Senator David and Representative Osborne continue to meet on an ongoing basis, and I think that people like to have drama. I don't think it's anything what people are saying about it.
Do you think that you'll have to go to special session or is that absolutely not?
That's the rumors that start this time too.
Yes.
I don't know, that's always an option, but I don't think that's a likelihood. And I hope that we get our business done before sine die, and I believe we will.